So I'm really excited about my next guest. I'm so excited about it that I ended up jumping on a couple minutes before 6 o'clock. But just so you guys all know, I'm interviewing Canibus. He's one of my favorite MCs, and I really, I'm so excited about this interview. I'm like getting crazy already, but I got my man Cannabis coming on, and the way that I met him was kind of crazy. I ended up going out to Los Angeles for the BET Awards, and I ended up meeting Jazzy Jeff. And Jazzy Jeff invited me to a show that he was doing that night, and I just happened to be backstage, and I saw Cannabis, in the hallway. So I'm like, whoa, like this is my favorite MC right here. So I approached him. He was really cool, and the best thing that I ever could have done was just, swallow my pride and went over there and be like, yo, man, I'm a big fan of yours. You know what I mean? What's going on, man? Like, what's up with your career? How'd everything go? And we just started chopping it up. And it was like one of the best conversations that I ever had with any kind of rapper at all. And I just remember the very first time that I heard him on the DJ Clue tape. It was like, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to know who he was immediately. And I've been following him, ever since. And, again, I'm just like really excited to be able to have him on. I'm really honored. I've been honored for the last couple of weeks that I've been able to kick it with him. He's been a true friend from the very beginning, from the first day that we met. And I'm really excited to bring him on. So I do know that he's on right now, but I don't know why I can't bring him in. So let me try to figure out a way. Yeah, I'm going to invite. Here we go now. Hey, Biss, I don't know if you can see this, but just accept the invite. Yeah, that way, and I'm telling you, man, like, dude was the coolest dude ever, man. Like, just talking to him, and it's like I have so many different questions for him, because at the time that he came in, I was an MC too, so it was like I'm thinking I'm doing my thing, I'm thinking I'm killing everything, and he came in and just murdered everything. So then it was like, on top of that, he ended up jumping in with like all the hottest MCs that I knew at the time.
Turn
And,
this.
can you there, Biss?
There we go.
What's up with you,
Yeah.
baby? How you doing,
What's
man?
up? What's up with you, bro?
I'm
Yeah,
chilling,
man.
man.
I press these buttons, figure out it's only this time, or only when using this app, or just this once, and you know,
Hey, bro, listen,
figure out these buttons. Yeah.
I know that your time is limited, man, so I gotta jump right in because I got so many questions for you. You know what I mean? Like I
Nah,
told you, and
we
like I
gonna
told
build.
you, yeah, I'm coming from a reporter aspect, and I'm coming from a
Uh-huh.
fan, and I'm coming from
Okay.
a former MC. All right.
Right,
So
right,
I
right.
just I- so
Okay.
I just really want to start from the very beginning. First of all, where are you from? Where are you from?
So originally, I'm from the islands, from Jamaica, a little island out there. Had 2 million people on it, spread all over the world.
Uh,
Um, Born 1974, and you know, my whole family pretty much be West Indian. And also, of course, uh, Jamaica is a colony of the Queen.
mhm.
The UK, right? So pretty
So
much, man, like
so
just
when
came up that way, like
uh,
West
when
Indian. You know how people from the islands are, man. Like just hardworking. Um, a lot of sun, a lot of a lot of soccer, right? A lot of yam and potatoes and all that Usain Bolt stuff, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's how
So
and
when did you
and then Miami,
when did you end
Miami.
when did, when did you end up moving to New York?
I've been in the States, man, since I was 2 years old, man. Miami was port of call, 76, and pretty much from there all over, man. Like it was Florida, of course, Miami first, then Washington D.C., then of course like for a little stint, Gun Hill Road up there in the Bronx. My grandfather's brother, uh, Uncle Wilfred, we used to call him. He had a pirate radio station. I want to send a shout out to my folks on that side too, Uncle Wilfred's whole family and his children. But yeah, he had a pirate radio station. in the
Okay.
Bronx, which is kind of like a big deal to have a pirate radio station in the States, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then from there, Washington D.C., um, Florida, uh, uh, Atlanta, um, out
So you was
there.
so you was all over. You
Went to
caught game from everywhere then, huh?
Yeah, first time I ever touched the West Coast was '96 for the Lost Boys. Music Makes Me High. That album, the
Oh,
Love, Peace, and Happiness album. That's the first time I ever went
yeah,
out west.
I remember that.
And then that's right. And then went to the service. After that stint, I lived in Vegas for 2 years. Um, Funny enough, shout out to the homie PXO and Black Cobra. I just talked to PXO yesterday. Yeah, he out there in Vegas still. Shout out to everybody out there. Iceberg, David, Dewey, that whole team, that whole Black Cobra team. Um, and that was K1. Black Cobra used to fight K1, and that was before MMA got real popular. And so we was out there all the fights. You know what I'm saying? When we did that Def Con Zero
Well,
album.
well. Before you go that far, right? I wanna ask you, like, when you first wrote your first rhyme and all that, right? Because again, I used to rap too, so I kind of
Okay.
remember. I remember how I got started, and I want to know for you, when you wrote your first rhyme, did you know that was hot? Did you know where you was gonna end up going, or was you just kind of like trying to perfect your craft and all that, or what did you start off though?
Yeah. So for me, pretty much it was a sort of thing where I loved hip hop from its inception, man. Like the first time I ever, heard a rap song, it was pretty much like well, it was Miami bass, right? But then so you're talking about TikTok Express, um, like I want to say Two Live Crew, but there was Miami bass was a little bit before them around that time. Nobody was rapping over it. Like I got into hip hop when it was still in the elemental stages and everybody was doing graffiti, everybody was breakdancing, they was popping and locking. Um and I was beatboxing, man. I wasn't even rhyming.
Oh, word.
And yeah, man, be young. I can't do that shit no more. My whole mouth done changed. My my face done changed. But yeah, beatboxing for my homeboy who used to rap. And then one time we got into this little battle clash with some other with another crew or posse at on lunch and in the chow hall and stuff, and they and we switched it up, and he started well, they beat us by the dude who's beatboxing with them started rapping, and vice versa, and the dude that started rapping started beatboxing. So I ain't gonna lie, that inspired me to say, well, I need to learn how to put this pen
Yeah,
to
yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's what we did. And after that, we used that technique on another crew and demolished them. And it was off from there, man. Like I
All right,
started
well,
I
well,
started
well,
putting that pen
well, let me
to it.
ask you this, right? Again, this is coming from a former MC
Hmm.
trying to get in, because I'm from Philadelphia, so it wasn't
That's
as
right. Big
easy to be able to. Yeah,
shout out
thank
to
you,
Philly, man.
thank you. Yeah, Philly. So,
A lot of
it was
MCs.
at the time it was difficult to be able to get on because of the fact that New York just had hip hop like in the headlock. So for you, when you first started rhyming and you started to get to that point where you knew you was dope, what was your next move? Where did you go? Because the first time that I ever heard of you, I heard you on a Clue tape, and I remember you was doing these freestyles, and I'm like, yo, who is this? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And I remember
right.
at the time I really thought I was dope, and then I heard you, and I'm like, man, I ain't that dope. I gotta step my game
So
up.
so the way that I see it, right? Hip hop, when you talk about um like New York having hip hop in the headlock, this is true. But the thing is, the reason why is because in the initial stages of rap, um, New York was always off the chain in the sense that they was still outside when the street lights came on. You know what I mean? It's the city that never sleeps, right?
Yeah.
So of course the children was always able to like just get away with stuff, man. You know what I mean? They were high speed and because if you think about it, who jumped off next? Like after New York, like then you had like of course Miami was about that life like real quick too because yeah, people used to go to the beach, get out, trying to stay out past the street lights, and then of course, that whole that show with the bad boys, what you
Yeah.
gonna do? Like that was the first kind of show that came on of that nature. That was the first show, and I was living in Broward County at that time. My family, we lived in Broward County, and so that's where I was doing music at. So then Miami was one of them, and that's why hip hop jumped off in Miami early, and it was a group down there called Afro Rican that was down with Tula Crew at the time, and Derek, they was trying to sign me, man. I was like 15 years old, and mom
Yeah,
wasn't
that was my
going
next
for it.
question.
Grandma,
Yeah.
yeah, grandma's wasn't going for it because I couldn't sign the contract paperwork by myself. And
Yeah.
then so back to
So
hip
so
hop and how
basically,
like the
but I
roots.
don't mean, I
Real
don't mean to
quick,
cut you off. Oh,
real quick this part though. So who took it next after like Miami? Then you had like L.A. right? And you had N.W.A. and that type of you had the early L.A. You know what I'm saying? Like Ice T. You know what I'm saying? Like K9 Posse, right? And because
yeah, yeah,
obviously they was the next ones that wanted to be outside after the street lights. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of look at it like what was going on was, and the Bible Belt got on it last. Why? Because the Bible Belt, they was still getting whooped. Like, man, don't you bring that in that house in this house? And you feel me? Like grandmas and moms like, man, don't you bring that in this house? And Unc ain't going for it, and Pa ain't going for it. So
Yeah.
you see how hip hop creeped through our culture, right? It
Mm.
started with the ones who was a little bit more off the leash, off the chain, and then as time went on,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
were
yeah.
unable to stop it. That's how I see it anyway. So I just wanted to get that out there.
Oh, no
Yeah.
doubt. So you're telling me that when you was 15, you was already dope enough for dudes to want to sign you anyway. So you started off
Yeah,
real
there
young
was
and you was just dope from the beginning.
yeah, I started penning at 13, and then and yeah, by 15, man, I was rhyming like a little. I mean, my voice hadn't balls ain't dropped yet, so I still had a light, a light pitched voice, but man, like that light pitched voice was talking that craziness, man, and and I remember Special Ed was out at the time. Like he was one of my favorite, man. Like what I got it made and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because he
yeah,
was
yeah.
also had like West Indian roots, and he rhymed every his rhyming structure was like, I'm your idol, the highest title, numero uno. I'm not a Puerto Rican, but I'm
I'm
speaking
speaking
so that
so
you
that
know
you know.
that he had a I forget, like, okay, so the locks got their way of doing it. The locks have a way where they lock in their syllable structure and their rhyme structure. Um, and there's a name for it, man. That name escapes me, but kind of just like how the locks had their own style, man. That's how Ed affected me in the early days, but I couldn't rhyme like that.
So when
So
you so when you started doing your thing, who what like so those are the groups that inspired you to do your style? Because when you came
well,
out,
nah,
from what I heard you, you was
nah,
putting
nah.
them words together. I ain't never heard nothing like that before,
No,
bro, at all.
well that was okay. So I was talking mainly about who was out at the time that I could understand. I could
Yeah,
understand,
yeah,
Special Ed and stuff. Then you had MCs, you know, a different type of tier where you talking about the Rock Kims, the G Raps, the Kane. Kane was somewhat understandable, but sometimes, man, he get to it. And he let it roll, get so, come, get some, you little
you little
bump. I
bum.
take the cake with you. And he would go on to
Yeah,
keep his
yeah,
kid, take
yeah,
the front, and
yeah.
he would go on with it. And then the Juice Crew. So you talking about Master Ace,
Shane, yeah,
Currency, my favorites, man. You know what I'm saying? These dudes get busy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And then of course, like Wu-Tang came out in '92, took it to a whole nother level. So,
yeah.
there was a lot of. I did a song on that Kaiju LP that came out at the beginning of this year. It's called Kaiju. It's available now on CandyNFT.com. Um, and it should be available too on all other outlets, retail outlets like Amazon and Spotify or Pandora, what have you. But there's a song on there. It's the last song. It's called Verses, and I shouted a whole lot of names out in that song. Hip hop, man. That's so I don't want to leave anybody out. I know I'm just uh, keying in on certain names and groups here, but it really all of hip hop, man, has an integral, it's a part of the integral foundation, the cornerstone of what we have today. All right, so Definitely
So
want to
when
send a shout out to everybody.
definitely. So when you
Even
first
the
got
little
your
new
break,
dudes, even the new artists, even the little new ones that's out right now. And when I say new, I don't mean Kendrick Lamar. He's not as new, but that his school, his generation, and the J. Cole's, and then the Ab Souls,
yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah,
truly the MCs unknown, but he's out there kicking up dust. Even Marco Polo, he's a little bit more my era too. You got the Cambadas. You got some nasty MCs out,
yeah.
man,
Somebody
and then
just
you
said
got the
Conway the
younger ones.
Machine. Yeah, them boys is dope too. Conway the Machine and
Oh yeah,
Benny the
for sure.
Butcher and them boys.
Griselda,
Yeah, yeah,
you talking about 38 Special, you know what I'm saying? I seen
yeah,
them
yeah,
perform one time. That whole crowd was full of hustlers, you heard me? You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? The whole crowd. So yeah, that sort of thing, yeah, so I wanna send a shout out to the whole hip hop. Cause I'm one of them guys, man. Like I like to see it evolve. I like to see it, move. I like to see it stay liquid, stay fluid. I don't complain about nobody's style, not anymore. Of course,
yeah,
when I first came out, I was under the impression that that's what you do. You come out and you like and I was doing what I saw done. I was
yeah.
just I was kind of like scraping up the ground and just El Toro with it and over the years, man, I've come to see that it's all the same. My mama used to listen to the Beatles and disco music, and the Bee Gees. When we got of age, we used to wonder what is all this about. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
used to just look at Donna Summers and Diana Ross for the what. I didn't really care about what they was talking about. So
All right.
over the years, man,
Let me let me ask you this. I don't mean to cut you off, but what was your first break? Like when you first like you making all these demos and you shopping your stuff. You 15. You couldn't really do anything because you was too young to sign a contract. What was your first big break? Like where was your first outlet?
see, that's how I knew that my folks was praying for me because I wasn't able to get on at all through no demo deal or nothing. Nothing ever happened that way. Like for me, it happened. I mean, I went to all of them, and I was Jack the Rapper conferences, the How Can I Be Down Jones. I did it all, and none of that jumped off. I made noise there. I was on certain little maybe like CDs that came out, but I didn't happen for me there. It happened working with Lost Boys, and that's Charles Soup and Todd Ellaby and Cheeks, Spig, Pretty Lou, Freaky Ty, and our team at the time. Shout out to everybody on that side of the fence, and of course, just everybody that's here and everybody that's gone. We want to definitely keep them in our thoughts. But I tell you,
Oh, okay.
Town is also another classic cap cornerstone of our music and what we have today, and a lot of artists on there. Shout out every artist there, man. What I mean, I could go through Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, Father MC, McGruff, that's Do, Chuck Bone, like you name it, man. They was all over there at I'll Be Sure, you name it,
All
so
right. Well,
i
well,
i
well,
had
well
I was
let
around
me,
all of that though, Bungee.
all right. Well,
I
let me
was
ask you
around
this.
all of that. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, right? And I'm gonna fast forward it a little bit. Um, what did it feel like the first time that you went out on stage and you performing your record and you actually looking out in the crowd and you seeing people singing your music back? What did that do for you? Because I remember when it first happened to me. I know that everybody's situation is different, but the first time you hit
Yeah.
that stage and everybody was singing your joint back, what did you feel?
So when I got a chance to really experience that was more like with Clef. When Clef took me on the road, when I went out on the road with Clef, man, it was you know, people say what they want, man. That
Well,
Fuji's thing
you
was
gotta tell us
crazy.
how you met Clef. You gotta tell us how you met Clef. How did you meet
I
Clef? And
know,
then you can respond to
I
that
know,
other thing.
I know. I said it before. I know I done it on an interview before. I guess people. It's just it didn't go for a while, but it was at the grand opening of Justin's. That was a restaurant that Puff had started. Everybody knows him as Diddy
Yeah,
now, but Diddy had started a restaurant in New York, and it was called Justin's. And so, named after his son, and Justin's. at the grand opening. I'm talking about cutting the ribbon and all that. So I was there for that grand opening, and you know, I met Jay-Z, but I knew Jay-Z through Clark Kent. And Clark Kent always used to say Jay-Z was gonna be God in the rap game, and he used to always say it. I can never ever, I can't forget that. Won't take it away from him. I mean, he used to talk about it to the point where it was hard to follow him all the way with it. Like, everybody knew Jay was nice. Everybody knew he was nice, and he had been out for a while, you know. But the way that Clark made it sound like, looking back on it, it's like he had a crystal ball,
Yeah.
because nobody could have ever seen that develop that way. But you know, it did, and I tell you what, not surprised, because you know, looking back on it, like Hove at that grand opening, he had like a little, he had a glass of white wine, I guess, and holding it like this. He said, he tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around. It was him. I said, "What's up, Jay?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "What's up, bitch?" I mean, he's not like that, but I said, "What's up, Jay?" Because I knew Clark had already, you know,
Yeah.
played some of my music for him and everything. And he said, he had on all white. He said, "Yeah, you ready for what this music industry gonna do to you?" And me being cocky and young, I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm ready." I didn't know I didn't know why. I get it now what the question meant, but then I didn't know what that question meant. I thought it was more like some kind of a, you know, like you just get into pro ball, you playing pro ball, and one of the coaches before the draft asks you that, you gonna give them the energy that you've been training for, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah, I'm ready. So right as I said that, Clef come tap me on the other shoulder. I turn around. He said, "Yo, Canibus, I've been looking everywhere for you." He just did you know, that signature walk up. Said, "Yo, I got, I got Kel's in the studio right now. We doing the Gone to November remix. I need you on that right now."
I remember
And you
that,
know,
John.
my
Yeah.
man just stepped in and was like, yo, we gonna be here for a little bit, man. Give me your numbers. I'll make sure you get there and what have you. And when I turned around, Jay was gone. Jay was gone, man. And I never forget that. And then that's how all that ran, right? And so I was on the
Right.
road with the Fugees, and I gotta tell you, man, it was like, I don't know what being on the road with the Beatles was like when they were on the road. And I wasn't even on the road during the beginning of the score. I wasn't there. I came in
Yeah.
after the score. And I'm telling you, man, like, they had all the toppings, man, everything. And so that's when I had the opportunity to touch the stage, had a lion, you know, headlining shows, Smoking Grooves tour, had my own tour bus, um, you know, you know, you on stage, like let's say Red Rock, Colorado, performing there. You take your shirt off. I'm copying what I seen the other artists do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big
Yeah. Yeah.
Pun, you know, Terror Squad was out at the time. Fat Joe, Big Pun, you know, and Terror Squad, you know, Triple Sage, you know what I'm saying? You know, all of them, they was out on the road. Buster was out. Public Enemy was out at the time. Um, you know, Flav rode on my bus with me one time. Um, I seen Kirk Franklin out there. I mean, the names are too many to list,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. No doubt.
Freddie Fox was out there. Too many to list, man, names. But I tell you, when, you know, like I said, I was copying everybody else. Man, when you take your shirt off and you swing it around like this, and you say, yo, everybody else, they take their shirt like, it's hot in here, and everybody take their shirt off, and you see like 60,000 people do the same, and you're saying like your rhymes from Gone to November, or you know, another song that I don't even really want to, and then they saying it back to you, and you look in their eyes and you can see them looking at you, and they just,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's create, we call it feedback. I call it feedback. It creates
Now
feedback
I'm
where
I'm
you
getting
might forget your
goosebumps hearing the
rhymes.
story. I'm getting the goosebumps hearing the story because I can only
You
imagine what
might
that thing felt
you
like.
might forget your rhymes. You might forget your rhymes, Bungee, because you can't. But that's when you snap out of it, and you're like, yo, this person is like really concentrating very very hard. You know, like
Yeah.
serious with this folk. So yeah, I mean,
So at
those
what point
those
did you
days, man.
at what point did you wake up in the morning and be like, damn, like I'm here, like all that hard work that I did, I'm here. And then how difficult was it for you to maintain it? Because like once you got that
So,
one hit record, I know you had to do a lot more to try to maintain that hit. You know what I mean?
right. So interestingly enough, after so many years of being able to have like, objective self introspective, I say that I never really felt like I arrived. I never did. I always had humility about myself when I was off duty, man. I always did. On the microphone, of course, man. I thought that that's what we supposed to be doing, man. You know
Did
what
you
I'm saying?
realize
And I
that you was
think
one
it's
of the? Did
evident.
you realize that you was the best though, or was you kind of humble
No,
with that too?
no. I was trying to be, and at one time I felt like I was somewhere in the running for it. But I mean, let's be honest, man. If I felt like I was the best, I would have handled it more like Hove would have than the way I handled it. Like Hove stopped proving that right around after like ain't no nigga. You see
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
He just laid back, and I'm stopped. I don't mean to keep using him as an example. It was
That's
just
all
like
good.
he's a template. He's a template for what all these artists out here want to do and want to be. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
and you think about it, he didn't. I mean, one time he said on around who the best like Biggie, J, and Nas, right? Like I think
Mhm.
was it him? Said that
Yeah. That
right?
was Jay.
Yeah.
That was
So
Jay.
right. So he never said it was himself. See what I'm trying to say? He was very humble about that. So no, I didn't think that I was on like his level or any of the real greats level, like the Nas's, the Biggies, the Tupacs. Um, you know, Rakim had his own lane. There was a lot of science involved in Ra's side of the fence. And then of course, um, Ra had classics that he could perform to like up this day, to this day. And then you got like Black Thought, like they were artists that they had classics that they could perform up to this day that nobody ever forgets. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That nothing ever takes its place. No hit comes out that's bigger than their classics. You could still go on and do their classics, and somebody gonna be able to pantomime their classics just as much as a hit that's like multi-platinum right now. That's
All
the
right.
effect that those guys got.
Well, I'm not gonna get too crazy into the next topic because I know you're probably tired of talking about it, but I do have to talk about the classic, the 4-3-2-1 joint. And I just wanted to ask you, when you went to the studio, and I don't know if you're on. I know your Wi-Fi messing up. You still there? Okay. When you went to the when you went to the studio to do 4-3-2-1, what was it like mentally for you to be on a record with such giants? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta remember the dudes you was on that record with, they was like the hottest at that time. You had X, you had L, you had, Meth, yeah, Redman, like you was on there with the top MCs. So
I hear
what was
you.
going through your mind mentally when you was like doing your work with that? You know what I'm
I
saying?
hear
And was
you.
you
Look, Reggie, I'm listening. I'm listening.
now,
I'm
and I
listening.
was just saying, like when you went to the studio and recorded it, did you know you had a smash? Cause you murdered that, bro. Like you murdered that joint.
Nah, I didn't look, man. I was trying so I was all look on your show just reiterate it and sort of like try to pound this into the annals of history. I all I wanted to do was get out on the field and play on the field with the guys I came up to listening to and the guys that I looked up to. That's what I wanted to do. I wasn't out there trying to get no bread. I wasn't out there trying to, trying to take anything from anybody. Like, look how much work I put into it. And look, this is 2022. I
Yeah.
still put in work. So at that time, it was genuinely what my goal was to get off the bench, right? And play on the field with them. And so I was doing kind of like anything to play on the field, meaning that I was following the aggressiveness that I saw, and I'm Jamaican. So what Jamaican ain't aggressive or has the ability to be third world country, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta you gotta push to get in line to get yours. You know what I mean? Like if you just stand there, nobody's gonna say, come get in the line, and I'm talking about 70s Jamaica, 80s Jamaica. I don't know what everybody doing now. The world's changed. But I'm telling you, all I ever wanted to do, I can't I can't emphasize that enough. All I ever wanted to do was get out on the field and play on the field with them. That's what I wanted to do. So the only MC that I really like had any kind of, you know, real caution about was Redman, because that's why when I did Beats from the East, I put 50 bars on it, because Redman was the best MC to me, like, you know what I'm saying, like ever, like out, you know what I'm saying, at that
Mm-hmm.
time, like, you know, just go for broken, crush the mic device with the body of Christ twice, and all
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
crazy,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
Muddy Waters, right? Like, so yeah, Redman, you know what I'm saying, like time for some action, like all that. So when Redman allowed me to come on Beats from the East, and Lost Boys did too. But when Redman allowed me to get away with putting 50 bars on there and not catch no feelings about it and not act weird about it, that goes to show you that he understood. And I love Redman for that. I love Reggie for that.
when you was
Because I
working
was
with
too
Redman,
young. I,
when you
I
was
was too
working with
young. I want to say
Redman,
this. I want to say this. I want to say this and shut up about it though. I was too young to know that it could have been taken the other way. I didn't get it.
yeah,
I thought that hip hop was kind of like a where even though everybody different crews, cliques, and posses, we was all waving the
all
same
together.
flag. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah,
thought. Because if you think about it, when the East Coast West Coast drama jumped off, I was still like working with Lost Boys, and Lost Boys was going everywhere. We was going East Coast, West Coast, overseas. We didn't get into any of that. So that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. And I was in I was in the office handling the business. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. Like, I genuinely thought at that time that hip hop was it had one heartbeat, and everything else is just an organ, and appendages, and other part
yeah,
makes
yeah,
up
yeah,
other
yeah.
parts of the body, right? That's what I thought. And I was wrong, but that's what I
So,
thought.
so like with me being on the outside trying to get into hip hop, which I never, of course, got to where you were. It always seemed like when you look at Word Up magazine, you look at all these different magazines, it looked like all the MCs was down with each other. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh
when you was
yeah,
so when you was coming up and you was doing your thing,
yeah.
did you get an opportunity to like really absorb your favorite MCs and like really kick it, or was it just something that just went fast? You meet the boy, take a picture with him, and then you don't talk to him no more. Like, was it how was it? Like, you know what I
Nah,
mean?
look, I came in on the tail end of all that. Like I came in on the tail end of self-destruction, like somewhat,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
got around that stuff early. I got around it early. So, but see, what I didn't know, and what a lot of people didn't really realize is like hip hop also, the bread started increasing. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I know that from
yeah,
like stories my father used to tell me about when he played cricket in the West Indies, how, the money that they was getting for playing on cricket tour back then, it was nothing like the bread that you, it's kind of like soccer players. I mean, pick a thing, any sport, any type of business or whatever, actors, right? They're not
mhm,
getting the money. Back in the day, them actors wasn't getting the money that these actors get now and what they doing now. They
absolutely.
just, even when you brought it down to, like, let's say the Cowboys and Indians movies, a lot of those Indians, they weren't even Indians. Those was like ivory folks painting themselves dark so that people couldn't get the SAG. Like, so you can't even get the SAG? Like, you can't even get the Screen Actors Guild money? No, no money. So that's how rap was. In the beginning, those artists wasn't getting the bread like that, bro. They
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't. So I can understand why the feelings were more of a church vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like a family vibe. And because everybody had something to add on, because everybody was still kind of like, either living at home or, got a little thing going. Because remember, I remember that a lot of them doughboys was the ones getting the bread. Like the rappers was borrowing they Jones, man. They was
yeah,
borrowing their stuff. They was riding around in their cars or borrowing their jewelry. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
It wasn't the rappers. So as the bread started to increase, that's when the drama started. And I came in
Cause
at
now,
that
yeah,
time.
now they
That's
feel
when
like
I
you
came
stepping on
in.
their toes. They're not eating right now
Yeah,
because you coming
I
in, you
came
taking
in
all the
at that
money.
time.
Yeah,
I came in where artists was finally young boys, not because Heavy D had like Heavy D was doing it when he took over Uptown Man. Hev was living like a superstar, but I came in at that end where it was like, nah, I started getting it. You know what I'm saying? You know, The Lost Boys was getting it a little bit. We was out there getting it, like Death Row. Every artist on Death Row was getting it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's just what it seemed like to me. Like I just felt like everybody just started to get their bread up. And so that's what created the drama. That's what created it, man. To this day, I believe that that's what started all that. It's the bread, it's the division. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think and you say, okay, well, why did New Edition break up? Like everybody got their reasons, but Bobby went solo because you can't split the pie that many ways. Like how many ways you gonna split the pie?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Why, you know, leaders of the new. You split the pie all them ways, man. After a while, man, somebody gonna come in and say, yo, you know what? You the superstar. You deserve to be getting more, man. You know, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that that's what has been happening to the game.
Yeah.
And that's why you see even now, like, people just can't, you know, these boys can't even get it together now, man. Like now it's just like groups is getting like all them, you know, cases, man. It's crazy. I ain't got to say no names, man. We all know
of
what it is.
course.
They got life insurance out on these boys. You know, they doing all kinds of things with these little youngins, man. And I look at it and I be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And and another thing, I'm not a defender of none of that stuff no more. At one time, I thought there was a Justice League out here. And it's just Legion of Doom, man. There ain't no Justice League out here, man. So I'm not trying to fix nobody's problems. I don't even, it's none of my business, man. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not trying to tell people what to do, what not to do. But people gonna do what they want to do anyway, man.
Yeah. But let me ask you this. So when you was doing your thing, and you know, we're not even going to talk about the drama and all that stuff. Everybody already knows about it.
Anything you want to know, Bungee. I'll tell you anything you want to know.
All right. Well, let me ask you this, because this is
you came out, you did the Canibus show on Bump That Radio from 12 to 2. You did it on short notice, and I appreciate you for that, brother. And you answered. And when you know when the Bad Boy Good Talk got to it with you, you know, I had to take over on some like, oh, you handled it, Bungee.
Yeah. That's my guy.
You stand up about it, but everybody don't though. Sometimes people just stay forward and stuff, and I appreciate you for that. You stayed till the ninth hour on the ninth inning to the buzzer.
No doubt. You already know. Hey man, when Biss called me, you know I got to hold up. You got to stand up.
I appreciate that, Bungee.
All right, so
I'll tell you anything you want to know.
All right, so I got to do this because I was going to skip over it, but I have to ask because this is
Let's
for me
talk.
personally. So at the time, you know, I can't lie, LL was my favorite MC. You know what I'm saying? I loved him. I was happy that
he was one of mine. He was definitely one of mine. He was, he wasn't. I ain't gonna lie, stay like, yo, he's my favorite with the lyrics, but that's not what he was. You know, but that's not what I knew him for. I didn't know him as being the most lyrical. You know, everybody loved everybody loved the early ones. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason why I liked him was because at the time I liked everything about him. It wasn't just about his lyrics. It was about the way that he, you know, wore his clothes. It was about the jewelry. It was about the whole persona.
New York.
Yeah, so he had the whole package for me.
He had everything. He had everything.
So,
he was, and I'm gonna say another thing too. It's not just L, it's in L, like just the L and the L. It's EL. You understand what I'm saying? There's a meaning to that, and I know you know what that is. And some of our listeners gonna know what that is. EL. That's the L you dealing with, man. You're not dealing with just a regular dude, man, or a regular artist, regular celebrity that rap. It's EL in there, man. That's why all that King James, all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping it all the way a buck, man. Some people out there, maybe they might tell me to, you know, go ahead with that or whatever. They don't know. They don't know. You know what I'm saying? Why would they?
When you guys did 4, 3, 2, 1, I know that you did your verse first, right? And it's like, you know, how did you even find out that there was drama in the first place? Because I know you went in there with the intentions of trying to light the mic up, doing your thing, and then all of a sudden you hear something. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't know that he was coming at you when I first heard the record. It wasn't until I started hearing all the mixtapes and stuff like that. So it was like I thought everybody on there was just being lyrical and was saying they think. So how did you even know that? When did you find out, and what did you feel like when you heard the joint? Was you immediately mad and went and did second round knockout?
Wasn't mad. Yo, how could I have been mad? Like I know you don't know. You asking, but there's no way I could have been mad at first because I was crushed.
Yeah.
I was crushed. I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, how did this happen? You know what I'm saying? Because I realized immediately the bear trap I was in. I immediately knew the bear trap I was in. Not the entirety of it, but that particular snap. It's on your leg now. Yo, how I'm gonna get
Yeah.
this off? You know what I'm saying? I don't have the strength to get this jaw trap off of me. I knew that. I knew I was in a trap, and because the way that it was spread out, it was like, somebody could have just called me, pulled me to the side. I mean, Dave Lighty tried to do it. I'm gonna send a shout out to Dave Lighty. Dave Lighty and Mike was too young. I'm gonna send a shout out to Dave Lighty for that because Dave did try to mediate. Another dude called Jamel. He tried. You know what I'm saying? Jamel tried, like Ty Fife, like he tried, but nobody else really. You know what I'm saying? Like tried. I know K Solo, wherever he was at, he had attempted to. But nobody really stepped out in front of that and said, you know what y'all doing, man? Like I remember one time we did a show in Copenhagen. You know what I'm saying? God bless the dead. Biz Mark, right? God bless his soul. And Biz was like, we was in the green room, and Biz, we was all back there. Solo, Born Son, Sean P was back there. God bless, rest in paradise to Sean P. We was all back there, and uh Biz said, "Yo, Biz, yo, man, like, yo, I feel like the album, man, like, could have been like this and so forth and so on." And I wasn't mad at Biz, but I said, Biz, why you ain't say nothing then, Biz? Why you ain't do nothing? Why you ain't do nothing? Because he said it to me in a room full of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Artists that I respect and artists that I'm here standing with. And we had brought Biz out on stage. No, yeah, we opened up for him and Biz headlined. And when he was having difficulty in the end, with the You Got What I Need and all that, we came out on stage and helped him out with because he was breathing. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Sweating
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
We came out and we fireman carried him back off of that song in Copenhagen. Joel Ortiz was at that show, right? So I asked Biz, I said, Biz, come on, Biz. I said, all right, Biz, 100%, you right. But why you ain't say nothing, though, Biz?
yeah,
And that's a question I wanted to ask all them double OGs at the time. Why y'all ain't say nothing? Y'all saw me getting toe up. You feel me? I was getting toe up out there, Bungee. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That's why, like, when you see artists like X and all that, and even like Nori now, and Cam, and that class of artists. Corrupt was above our pay grade, but he still was in the field at the time, and there was a lot of artists out at that time, like, and they was going for broke. They was going for broke. Even Crooked was out at that time. And I'm not just saying certain names. There's a lot more names too. But what I'm saying is that that's why artists got so aggressive and got so, like, started, even like Papoose, like artists came out. Papoose did 1 million mixtapes, man. 1 million.
yeah,
Why? It was during that time where you just had to rhyme so hard to prove it. But then when you look, it wasn't no double OGs really stepping up to the plate, stopping nothing. I heard
well,
Master P
wait,
step
wait,
up and say things a couple times, and even P even, like, from how it was said, like P was the first one to make sure that certain artists got that much bread. You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah,
not saying that was perfect and all. I know everything got its situations, but I mean, P did, like, change the game with that. You know what I'm saying? To where artists, and you know what? The other day when I did the Joan out LA, man, I saw Nick Cannon's little team out there. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Yeah, I saw them out there. Just a few of them, a few of the MCs. I know they get busy and stuff like that, but yo, man, they was all chilling. You heard? They all look like superstars. And I was saying to myself, wow, Nick takes care of his team.
yeah,
He stands all by himself. He's got his own universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, because one of the guys, something or another, and it just seemed to me like he didn't even really care about rap or anybody in rap. He was just about what he was doing. And and I just thought about it. I said, wow, like like that's incredible. We didn't have a Nick Cannon. We
yeah,
didn't have a Nick Cannon in rap. We didn't have one of those. We didn't have one of them guys. One of them guys who, you know, they kept us insulated from the drama. For where we were standing, we was like a type of dictatorship, man. It was few dudes like P that came out and you know what I'm saying, like let everybody out, like out the gate. You know what I mean? It's few dudes like that. I know there's a couple more I'm missing the names, but there was a few. There wasn't
Yeah.
that many.
All right. Well, after you came out with second round knockout and all that, and you had Mike Tyson on the joint and all that, but after you
Right,
came out with
right,
that
right,
whole
right.
album, you came out with that whole album, and then you came out with another one after that. Did you have label
Tyson
problems or
said
something like that?
something. Tyson said something. Shout out to my man MC. He said something. You got that joke with me and chopped it up.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Chopped it up, man. And you know what I'm saying? I don't ever be liking to really bring his name into stuff about when they be talking about that, man. Because Tyson, you know what I'm saying? Like, I even saw one time he went on L's show and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, people got to know. And that don't crushed me, man. I wasn't mad at first. I got a little bit vexed afterwards when I tried to level and be like, yo, man, this mean everything to me, man. Can't you just do this and try to do it this way and just don't make it look like you was like
Just coming at
just
you.
snapping me up like that? Like, can you
Yeah.
just not do that, man? You know what I mean? And the rest is history, man. But look,
Do you think that he was offended when you said something about snatching the crown with your head still attached to it? Do you think he was talking
well, see,
about you?
that's the
Did
whole
he think
thing.
you was talking about him? Did he think that you
I
was talking
mean,
about him when you said that line?
you know what? Looking back on it, he must have. Number one, he must have. And number two, even though we had the conversation about the mic, because Cheeks said that the wickedest tattoo in hip hop was the microphone wrapped around his arm. That's what Cheeks has said. And when I saw it, I said, yo, Cheeks was right. So yeah, Cheeks from Queens, all that, man. And they, he had that connection. And I said, would you be mad at all? This is just me and him talking. Would you be upset if I got something like that? Like, not even now, but later on. I got to earn it first, but would you be mad? Oh, nah, baby, nah. Now remember, this is the young him. This is the even younger me, right? But that's what was
Yeah.
said. And so when all that happened, it's like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, but that's the whole thing. When you look at it, when you rewind and look at it now, I don't know if if there are ancillary forces and people out there who they want to keep this conversation going because they want because they don't ask him nothing about it,
Yeah.
right? But they always asking me, and I always speak about it like an adult, and I make it be known that I really don't harbor any ill will towards that situation. I mean, it boosted his world. It gave him a boost. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's all some people want to talk about. But this is the point of it. I speak on it this way to say, who knows if this is some type of a ploy or some type of a, deep-seated op to, you just keep asking me about this shit because, it's like you want something to happen to me or something. I mean,
Well, I think for
why
me, when it
people
came
want to
time
talk
for
because
me,
hold on. Let me say this. If y'all don't shut up about it, what y'all doing is y'all are reigniting it. Y'all are trying to keep it. Well, you're not reigniting it because I'm saying that everything is good. I touched the stage with him in 2017 and squashed all that. They never talk about that. But what I'm saying is our people got to wake up and stop being crash dummies because this is exactly how, you lose the people that y'all love. You say you love so much because you keep backing them into a corner and you keep trying to make it easy for ancillary and arbitrary parties to come in and do something to one
yeah,
party and blame it on the other party. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
oh,
Because your
absolutely,
world, you live a
absolutely.
much realer world than a lot of folks. But see, people don't know that. And I look at them like, wow, man, they never even get it. They being manipulated in their own backyard, front yard for that matter, and don't even know it. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
know, well, I
Yo,
know,
man,
I know one
I
thing. I
got
know one thing that's
I got
crazy,
love
right?
for L. Listen. I'm saying it right now. I got love for L, man. I'm gonna tell you why. Because L could have pressed a button, right? And changed my life in a very bad way, and he didn't. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Well, I think,
If all he did was just like, you know, take it to ground with the music and and do that, then look, man, I was blessed. And I love
yeah,
the brother for that. Because he could have always taken it somewhere else. I mean, we're talking about the L, right? It's EL, not L, just EL. See, and the people listening that know will understand what I'm talking about. The crash dummies ain't never gonna figure it out, which is why they don't really get to sit at the table with that kind of conversation. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, if he wanted to, he could have pressed a button, and it would have been the Saints. It would have been the Saints up in a battle because there was prayers going down the line. I know both for me and him and our loved ones. And what did we do? We kept it clean and PG-13, well, a little bit rated R sometimes, but that's as far as it went. Mature audiences only, and we kept it that way for hip hop, for the whole world, in front of the whole world, and
I,
then
I
pieced
think
it
I
out.
think for the most I think for the most part though, I think that a lot of people probably ask you the question because anybody that was in the game at that time or anyone that was listening to hip hop at that time, we all felt like you won that battle. And I think that a lot of people wanted to ask you or bring it up because they probably wanted to know how you felt about it because we all know what it was. But
It
get
crushed
past
me.
that.
No, no, no. But hold on though. But who went through that though? Who went through
Yeah,
that? It crushed me. It
yeah,
crushed me, bro. Like, and then 2012, like I was crucified like in front of the world. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? In a battle rap joint, right? And look, I'm still walking around. See what
yeah,
I'm saying? Everything happened for a reason. Like, it was a symbolic crucifixion. Like, oh, he loved rap more than anything. All right, let's take that from him. You know what I'm saying? Because the
yeah.
circumstances that happened from, I already talked about that ad nauseum. But what I'm saying is that, all right, people want to know what happened. I always, if the question come up and it's like whatever, I'll speak on it. But the thing is, what people don't understand is what they doing is, because one of these days, I'm gonna be inaccessible. One of these days, like one of these days, I'm just be inaccessible, man. Motherfuckers ain't gonna be able to ask me nothing. They ain't gonna be able to talk to me about nothing. Maybe it'll be in that age where some of these double OGs reach to where they just you be trying to talk to them and you call their name and they not answering you. They walking, they got security, they got all that stuff. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But one of these days, man, it ain't gonna be where I'm gonna just be because I'm gonna be looking at them like, man, these demons, man. These people ain't real. Because like
Yeah.
I said, what they doing is they're allowing third parties, ancillary, arbitrary parties to be able to come in and control things and do things and sway opinions, and it's being done right now. It's being done all over the world all the time. And a good friend of mine always say that he says it, and you know what? He's got some credence to it. He said the real battle between good and evil has been going down in rap music since the early 80s, well, the late 80s or the mid 80s,
Yeah.
there's some credence to that. I kind of believe that the mid 80s up till maybe like the 2000s, like when G Unit got out of it, that kind of stopped. I think I know people was battling and getting it on, but G Unit, the joint with G Unit and Murder Inc. was probably the last real, like, what, you know what I mean? Because that got ugly, man, and that was just like, and even that, like, it's a lot of things with that where I'm sure, like, don't either one of them dudes want to talk about that, man. And when people bring that up, what they doing is they allowing third parties to come in, do something to another party, and then blame it on the party. They're right
Yeah.
there. So it's the rap people doing it to themselves, man.
But
And
let me ask you
the
this
reason
question.
that
This
yeah,
this a little off topic, but I know my man keeps hitting me up asking me to talk to you about the Desperado song. How did that come about, bro? Because you murdered that joint. That was like one of my favorite songs.
so what is that? What's that? 20? How many years ago is that? That's
Oh yeah, yeah. That was a long time ago, but that
yeah,
was a
real
banger though,
long
bro.
time ago. Hey, hey, so I know people don't really want to hear it and all that stuff like that, but look, it's an album I did in 2014. It's called Fayada Complete, right? It's 2014, so what, 6 years
Oh, we
ago.
going I want to talk to you about all the new stuff. We gonna talk
Yeah.
about all that. I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
ain't
I'm,
gonna
I'm
hold you
only
too
saying
long.
this for those. I'm saying this for those who ain't gonna hang out for the whole thing though. Like, so Fayada Complete, like among like the hardcore cannabis brotherhood, you know what I'm saying, and fellowship, like they know that Fayada Complete was like, it's spooky, man, it's creepy, man, how that record, how that record just like it stands the test of, what I'm saying, like time relative to what we're really going through. All that stuff I was talking about on Desperados and 4321 and all that stuff. Like, really, to tell you the truth, none of that stuff, none of that stuff, none of that stuff stood the test of, like, because you got what's called like the lyrical rap dudes, and then you got dudes that are saying things like, for example, like a Nas, like, when Nas said hip hop is dead, there was a lot of truth in that, but no one really understood what he meant until
Yeah.
like now you look at it. Yeah, certain type of hip hop, it really is dead, you know? And so my record like that, I think was probably Fait Outta Complete, man. And to me, that record, you know, it's not my favorite record. It's just a record that was made, and I don't really understand, even to this day, how I came about being inspired to do it, you know? And I
All
see
right.
this
Well,
thing in here saying, hold on, Frank White, Eminem are my favorite rappers. They are who base my style off. Only thing is, bitch should have never pulled out the pad. Okay, so this always come up, right? So let's address that real quick. So these people saying this, right? I don't know who they are. I don't know where they from. But see, once again, it's people who fail to just make a simple connection. My shoulder was ripped out the freaking socket, yo. My shoulder was
wow.
dislocated. You know what I'm saying? I had stitches in my head, bro. I had stitches in my head. I had stitches in my head. You can still see the joint. You see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
With
Yeah.
the head on blood? Yeah, I had stitches in my head and my shoulder was ripped. It was dislocated. You know what I'm saying? And I know there's a picture out there with my shoulder dislocated. So I was like on, what do they call it? Like painkillers, man. When I came out there, man, you could see I was loopy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's so obvious to anybody who's been through anything remotely close. So I don't even know what I was doing. Yo,
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was doing. Rufus got the picture talking about I looking like Ray Charles. Well, what would you would have looked like if that
Yeah.
happened to you?
Yeah.
Then they had you in a cell with 4 dudes named Jermaine while your family was looking for you. Had you in a holding tank. Well, and I ain't no jail
Yeah.
dude. So
Yeah.
they talk about
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
you up to the tier and all that, man. I'm like, man, I ain't going up there, man. I don't care what happened. And they having
Yeah.
you up. You know, riot gear, come in with Centurion riot gear, shields, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
So it was a miracle that I was even there. And what did I do? I still came through. I didn't quit. I came through. And everything what I did was just like, you was looking at the man on his last. And some people felt that too. Yesterday when I talked to PXO, he's like, yo, I was so mad. Supernatural was mad. Aguilar, Adolf the Assassin was mad. Everybody was so mad because they knew that wasn't me. But at the same time, it had to have been meant to be though, Budgie, because how could it have lined up that way? You feel me?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
feel me? Like, how could it have happened that way, man?
Yeah.
That joint was crazy. And I praise Lord God, man. Thank Lord God for having me like the strength to get through it. And even though I was on the painkillers and I was unlike myself, I was still kind. I was still kind, man. And I was still sharing. Like I was open. I was sharing. I wasn't vexed and mad. When somebody had been mad, like if they was drinking or if they was a little bit intoxicated or not sober, right? They'd have
Yeah.
been mad watching
Absolutely.
everything you invested get dragged off like that and slaughtered, right? Everything you invested for all them years get dragged. So that's what I have to say to people who talk about stuff like the pad and all that. Like, come on, man. Like, I wrote my rhymes in a notepad, man. Like, what? I'm supposed to be what? That's a crime. I took the pad out because I was on painkillers. Didn't really have you know what I'm saying, the wherewithal to really, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't in the moment. I
Yeah.
wasn't in that moment, man. I was
Well, I
somewhat
know.
like out of my body even. You could hear it, man. You could hear it in the rhymes, man. Like I've never watched it before because it wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? But I was on autopilot and that's what I did on autopilot, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I don't know what a lot of other people would have done in that situation, man. I don't know. Like everybody talk, but see, once again, we reached that stage where that's really what separates me from like the whole rest of hip hop. Bungee, there's only maybe a handful of dudes that
Yeah.
have really faced certain type of things, and nobody else would have been able to do any better, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody. And if they were, where they at, man? Where they at? Because everybody I seen that had to get to it on some rap shit, to me it looked like they wasn't on no painkillers like that, bro. They didn't have their shoulder dislocated, man. You know
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say? They had stitches in their head, man. Like I ain't seen it. Have you seen anything like that before?
Nah. No,
I never,
not
yo,
at
I never
all.
seen that. Like, you see what I'm saying? So that's why I say that when I say like the certain type of like the real war between good and evil happens in hip hop is because whenever there's a clear distinction that you're dealing with something that's somewhat supernatural, right? Somewhat weird, right? Like basically like Pac in heaven talking about I ain't mad at you. He with Bob Marley, he with Marvin Gaye, he with all, Sam Cooke here around. It's like, this is crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah,
and then it goes down for real. You know what I'm trying to say? Or
yeah,
Biggie, right? The life after death, he's standing next to the hearse. It's like, who's in the hearse? And then it goes down for real. Or there's so many others, but those are the ones that, you know what I mean? It's like we were like really impressionable at that time. And for people
yeah.
to look at that and just step by it and not realize how prophetic and supernatural all that is, like that's synonymous to like some of the stories that happen in the Bible and even some of the other Vedas and religious books that other people read and stand on. A lot of the other texts that people stand on throughout the world, whatever that might be, miraculous things. It's happened in rap, man. It has. I don't have all the examples of that, but just off of a few. And I'm telling you, man, a lot in my early career, a lot of them things, man, I was dealing with, that stuff was off the chain, man. And I just don't know nobody that went through that exactly the same way. I know other dudes with other stories. And yeah, stories that matter and stories that are deep. But man,
Well,
people
let
be
me ask you
sitting,
this, because
they be doing
I,
this. They be doing this. I feel like it's demonic, Bungee. Like it's demons sitting there talking about, yo, I just feel like he shouldn't have did that. Like, how do you know, man? How do you know what I should have did? Like, were you in my corner? Were you in my
yeah,
corner? Like, you wasn't in my corner then. You ain't in my corner now. Like, you just don't understand. You ain't got no empathy. You don't know nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, where does somebody like that even? What do they do for a living, man? Like, do they do anything real? Like somebody that talk about the world like that. Like, what do they do for a living? Do they just work it? I ain't even going to insult nowhere that somebody work. Somebody like that probably don't even have a job, man. Like, what does somebody like that do? Somebody like that doesn't have no children. Somebody like that doesn't deal with life, and somebody like that is definitely not out there, like pulling and pushing, in the name of righteousness. Somebody like that has never, you know what I mean, like done anything, put themselves on the line, or for the arts or for something that they believed in. You know what I mean? That was righteous.
yeah.
That you could just tell off top because they've never experienced adversity that way. You know, but
But I
not
know
to insult the brother, man. We gotta grow. Yeah,
I got a
let's
ton
keep.
of I got a ton of people that's asking me the same
Your
question.
brother asked about Desperados. What did he want to know about Desperados?
Oh, no, we're gonna move on. I got another question. I got another question everybody's asking me, and everybody wants to know, like, what type of structure do you use to be able to write your rhymes? Like, how do you come up with your rhymes and like your rhyme schemes and how you go about putting them all together?
So in the early days, it was straight tear your head off, shit down your neck, man. in the early days, it was all that drama, man. That's what they wanted. That's what I thought everybody was doing. That's what I did, man. I was programmed, man. That was easy, right? That's what these little youngins do now in the battle thing. But now I'm gonna tell you, I think they do too much with the gunplay. Like they be talking about the weapons like they gunnery master sergeants, man. Like they talk about the weapons to the point where you just be like, yo, man, y'all, yo, man, y'all just break these joints down blindfolded. Like where y'all get y'all training from, So, but outside of that, the charisma is there. The all of the heart is there. They're brave beyond, like, in that rap world. They're brave beyond, like, because the things they say, what they come off with, they're not even thinking that, in 5 years, 10 years, they might be playing this back to you, man. You know what I'm saying? Through the cloud after something done happened. And like everybody could be getting set up right now in that world, in that rap world. Like everything that they talking, it could be like some Minority Report situation where everybody got to sit in front of some type of situation and be like, well, didn't you do this? Well, we got it right here where you said this, right?
Yeah.
But they're not even thinking about that. And so in the early days, that's what it was like. I was on it writing like that. After a while, I started to really get into the poetic aspect of it, that poet laureate. When I got into that zone, and I started to play with sentence structure, word manipulation, and the same way like a lot of the those greats on that level, bending the words, like um we know who them names are, man. I don't want to be saying certain names because I don't want to look like like I'm trying to put myself on their level or whatever. But we know who those wordsmiths are, and I mean they bend the word, man. They make this word rhyme with the other one. So that was I was a part of that wave. And I started to poetically, I started to explore, and I started to step outside my ethnic boundaries, and I started to go in places where, some of the novels that I was reading and the things that the subject matter that I was touching, I was learning, and as I was learning, I wanted to share that with the mic because I didn't really know who I was talking to. I don't even think there was a market for that at the time, right? And so that's what I did, man, and that poet laureate phase, and just kept going with that, and then of course, rhythmically, it's always about rhythm, right? So, just start to master different, just different zones of rhythm, different time signatures. Even though, like one of the real masters of all these different types, I was talking about it earlier today, like Tech Nine. Like Tech Nine has a very unique style that he's shown it off for so long. It's like, I mean, can't nobody do his style exactly. Like when he get into
Yeah.
that, and then Twister's another one with that ability, rhythm. Um, I mean, we got some real greats, man. Like, and I always try to just, put it out there that, man, I was a fan of this industry first, man. Like, you know what I mean? All the things that happened, I don't know. After a while, it seemed like bad things would happen to me in the game. I've been blessed too. It was good times, man. It was more good times than bad, I will say. It's just the bad ones will always touch the front page, right? So, but I will say that, like, the bad times, it seemed like people only ever wanted to remember that, and then some people don't even think the bad times was enough for me. So they always want to see the worst happen. And so when they don't see the worst happen, it's like they get more and more upset. Then they start grabbing on the immature things, start saying things. It's just immature, man. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. Like, this man's a father. You know what I'm saying? This man's a brother. This man's a, you know what I'm saying? Like, this man is a friend. This man is you understand what I'm saying? This man is
Yeah.
all these things outside of just rap, man. So that's all,
Well, I know,
man. Like,
I know one thing that's crazy is everyone's is saying something about Big Pun, and then one dude just mentioned the fact that you were sitting at the table with Big Pun and X, and it's like crazy because I remember that picture so vividly. Like
right.
even when I thought about doing an interview with you, that's the picture that came to my mind, and I'm just thinking to myself like you was young, you came in, you were sitting at the table with the greats, and you was on the same level, like lyrically you was killing it. So for me, just to be able to hear how you put your words together, what you think about when you do it, that's an honor for you to even be able to explain it. But for the people that don't know, like, because we've been on here for over an hour, we already covered
Right.
everything from the beginning till now. But I want to know more about what you're doing today, because a lot of my people and even myself, I didn't even realize you was even still recording and doing stuff. So
Right.
can you put us up
Right.
on what you got going on now so that we can start following you?
Yeah, so if you want to get anything cannabis related right now, and recent, current, even up to, stuff we'll be doing tomorrow or next week, go to CaniNFT.com. That's CaniNFT.com. Just go over there, check that
I'm on
out.
that.
That'll help bring people up to speed with what I'm doing there. Of course, there's other things going on that you can't put on CaniNFT.com. You can't just put out there, but you know, relatively, I say that I'm not ultra active, but I'm active in the rap arena, right? And then, of course, I got artists, what I'm saying, with features and stuff like that. I'm working on their features to get it done. I got LPs that I'm working on with artists, EPs. And you know, I want to send a shout out to all those folks too, because they have been patient. They've been holding the line. They know I'm getting to it. They already know, like, you know what I mean, just the the workload that I'm under. But at the same time, they also know I show improve whenever they get that verse and it's maybe a little bit more than they thought. They're like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know I waited a little bit, but that shit crazy. So
Yeah, no
you got
doubt.
that going. I want to send a shout out to them. I really do love them, and they really do matter to me. And I got emails that I'm getting to with all of that stuff, right? So that, and then yeah, candynft.com, right? But outside of that, because we spent a lot of this time talking about me, I want to say thank you to you, Bungee, right? Because you really did, like, you came through in the clutch for me when I needed you for that bump that radio joint. And then in addition to that, you was cool, man. This interview was cool. Like, you know, you asked the questions that you wanted to ask, and I told you whatever you wanted to know, because I vibed with you, man, even from that night when we met
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at the DJ
Like,
Quick.
yeah.
It was
Just for the,
DJ
just
Quick
for the,
Rakim show. Like, that
yeah.
was a classic too, like, wasn't it? Like,
Absolutely,
that was
absolutely.
a big deal, right? Like, Quick and Rakim, like, you know what I'm saying? That was a big deal. And yeah, man, like Black Thought was there. There was a couple
Yeah,
folks
yeah,
there,
yeah.
man.
It was
It
Jazzy
was
Jeff was
crazy.
there.
Yeah, Jazzy Jeff, I got it with Jeff, and asked what's the name? Um uh
I know when you approached me, I was standing
is
next to
it
Big
Mac?
Boy, so Big
Is
Boy
it
was there.
Mac? It's who I asked for Mac? Uh it was Will Smith's homeboy, man, Mac, who owed me that picture that me and Smith took. He owed me that picture, man. Anyway, Jazzy Jeff know what I'm talking about. But and
Yeah,
Jazzy Jeff tore it up too. He tore that
yeah,
joint up.
yeah, yeah. Killed
And
that, killed that.
yeah, he killed it. And
All right, so just so the people can
this,
understand,
real quick,
just so
real quick,
go ahead.
real quick. So I wanted to say that even though the interview, like, you know, it was talking a lot about me, which is, you know, it's not cool, man, because this part right here, I want the artists out there to know, the up and coming artists, and even the ones that's out right now that might say, man, you know, they get to one of them weird little zones and they watching it and they just didn't hang up yet. I want them to know that, you know, in the early days when you making the music, man, like you talking about sitting at the table with Pun and X, Forte, Mike Geronimo. I mean, all these MCs, man, were top tier MCs,
Yeah,
all of them. Like,
absolutely.
even though there's some that we know and the others we might not know as well, like they were all top tier MCs, man, all of them, right? So I was honored to be there with them. But I'm gonna tell you, man, my main motivation, like I said, I wanted to get off the bench and play on the field with them. And it also, I didn't want to go back to where I was from, bro. I didn't want to go back, man. And you know what? That's what a lot of youngins out there, man, they don't understand, man. It's okay to go back to where you from. Don't ever get pushed so hard, man, where you jump out the window, man, because you know, it's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might think that if you go back to the town where you from or whatever, you ain't get no record deal, that you failed, or I don't know, man. The pressure's gonna feel the same to these youngins, even though it was different back then. It was like a record deal. Now you don't
Yeah,
necessarily need a record deal. That's hard to come by, but there's other things, right? And so I want them to know, man, that it ain't all about just not being able to go back to where you're from. Sometimes it's okay. Have a line that you're gonna draw. You're gonna draw it at a certain line and then draw it and make sure that line is predetermined. Don't just be where it's like you don't have no line to draw. Because that's kind of what it was for me. Like, I did have a line, but my line was more realistic in terms of like, okay, well, you know, I had moralistic things that I wasn't playing with, right? But in terms of the rap and what was said and who I had to face off with, it's like it didn't matter. Like, I didn't want to go back so bad. I didn't want to fail. I'm not like that anymore. As you can see, all that was taken from me, right? All that type of haughty, you know, that type of pride, it was all taken from me, man. You know what I'm saying? And in the last moment, I gave it away. I didn't even fight it. I gave it away,
Yeah.
yo. I gave my notepad. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh, you see? What's that?
You're my man.
Look,
Yeah, I'm happy to see
wet.
that, baby.
Yeah, that's wet from the back sweat. You know what I'm saying? And let's open it up. What we got in here? Oh
Well,
my God, what is
where
that?
you at right
Limes?
now?
Oh
Where
my
you at right
God,
now?
there's limes in there. Like, see,
Where you at right now?
oh yeah, just outside. You know, I don't come outside all the time. I'm outside, nigga. Hey,
You don't want
but
nobody
look,
know where you at, huh?
yeah,
I
I'm
see you.
outside. I'm outside.
All I see is water and boats out there, Johnny,
Yeah, I'm
baby.
outside. I'm outside, man. It's time you gotta run away from these crash dummies, man. But look though, right? So so what I was saying was like, yeah, man, don't I had notepad, man, the rhymes. Always about that, man. And I did not want to give up, bro. I did not want to I didn't want to go back the way I was from as a loser. And so because of that, I ended up kind of like taking it too far with folks that was just trying to defend their own crown. You see what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
say?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then when I realized like, damn man, you know, you didn't have to scream on the mic for 25 years, bitch. You could have done some radio records here and there. You could have done some R&B, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Had some shorties come out to the show. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
now, you know, it's all testosterone, man. Screaming,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, on that mic. And I did it for them. And that's what I'm trying to say, like, to these little youngins out here, don't think that there's not going to come a time when you're going to look at your body, your work and everything, and you're going to feel exactly the same. Like, you're not, man. You're gonna switch it up a little bit. You're gonna change. You're gonna say, you know what, man, like, I don't really want my little youngin thinking that
Well,
this is how the old man was.
let me say this, right? Because this is something that I definitely wanted to say before we got off the call. You know, for me, looking at you as an MC and me seeing how dope you was and how aggressive you was, I never thought in a million years that you would give a conversation to me. You know what I'm saying? Like you was
Okay.
very humble. You was very humble, and me and you been cool from that first moment that we met all the way till
Yes, sir.
now. So just so that everybody know that's on this, that's actually checking in with us right now. My name is Daryl Austin. I got a sneaker company called Bungee Brand. I started off as a rapper, which I was a huge fan of Canibus. He inspired me a lot. I ended up getting locked up right when I first got my record deal. Did a lot of time in jail. Created a sneaker brand while I was in jail, and then I came home with nothing. So I had to basically grind from the bottom all the way to where I was at until I got to where I was at. And then fortunately for me, you know, I did a couple interviews, big interviews. I did Nick Cannon. I did a couple different things, which led me to the BET Awards, which is how I met Canibus. So as of right now, I just wanted to say, like, Biss, like, you definitely are not the way that people may think that you are. You're much more intelligent than what people think that you are. Even when me and you had a conversation, within 5 minutes, you was talking to me about NFTs. You was talking to me about different ways that we can make money. And where your mind was at and where you was at mentally is not where I thought that you would have been at. And, you know, it's crazy. I think a lot of people need to, like, step back and get away from all the negative energy that may have surfaced when you first
They trying to
started.
kill us, Bungie.
Yeah, and
They
it's like
trying to
right
kill
now,
us,
dog,
man.
like
They
you
trying to
in a
kill
place
us.
right
And
now.
you know what? And it's for naught. It's for naught, Bungie. Yo, thank you for saying that, Bungie. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
see, remember this too, Bungie. Everybody gonna do what they gonna do anyway. You know what I'm trying to say? Everybody gonna do what they gonna do anyway. But you know, and everybody gotta learn that, man. They gonna do what they gonna do anyway. I ain't trying to make nobody mind up for that, man. And I'm not trying to convince nobody. You had exactly the right energy to make this happen. You see what I'm saying? It's a
yeah,
boomerang. That when you bought the first album, you were listening to keying in the early days, you threw that boomerang like that. When I finally show up and you're like, yo, Canibus, and you say what's up, I respond, that's that boomerang coming back. And you
yeah.
catching the joint. It's coming back. You threw that boomerang out there many, many, many years ago, and it came back. And I say that to show you how it's your energy that made that happen. And you would pull me to the side and be like, yo, but bad bitch, low, why you pull out that pad though? Like that. Well, we wasn't gonna exchange no numbers and do no calls behind that, right? Like, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah.
get mad and scrap over it neither. Like that's what these little crash dummies ain't figured out yet, man. Like the ones that's doing stuff like that, they're invaders. and they don't belong in our cipher, and they put themselves there, we got to start to learn to tell the difference and tell who's who. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, straw men in there playing games, and they're not really real. And I'm not really sure, you know, at these ages, how can they even be trained to be doing this type of thing? Like, this is not even something that you can necessarily buy or pay ops to do. It's like,
Yeah.
this is spiritual, man. You know what I'm saying? These folks is really feeling that energy. You know what I'm saying? They would like to start some type of quarrel or argument where you see the coasts fighting again. You know what I'm saying? You see, look, they doing it with countries. So my whole thing is, and look, they're gonna do what they doing anyway. I'm just saying that for those that are listening, that's down with us, what we doing with hip hop, what we've always been doing. Look, man, I might not be in love with it anymore because of what I've been through with it, but I still love it. I still love it dearly, and when I say being in love with it, means like, come on, man, there's just things that I just won't do for hip hop no more, man. I don't care what's at stake or because it's not worth it all. It's not,
Yeah,
at
no
one
doubt, no
time
doubt.
it was worth it. At one time it was worth it, like, everything for rap, but it's not really worth it because I went to a lot of levels in it where I didn't go to all the levels, but I went to a lot of levels in it where, to me, like, nah, that wasn't really worth it, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we still love it. I know you love it. You came back.
Absolutely.
You came back. You fell out the saddle. You came back in the saddle. You know what I'm saying? Had your little 58 Wade. You rolled back into town with the Stetson on, fit right. Everything fit right. Your Spurs, your Stetson, all that, man. You hear me? And I'm proud of you for that. And I
Thank you, man. I
support you for
appreciate it.
that. But, you know what I'm
And
saying? I
yeah,
know you're
so
gonna do
so
big
so
things, man.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know
When
you're
we
gonna
get
do
off the
big things.
line,
You're doing
when we
big
get off
things
the line,
now.
when we get off the line, I gotta hit you. I gotta get the address so I can send you some work out there. I gotta get
Yes,
you some
sir.
sneakers and all that.
Yes,
So
sir. That's
we
all
gotta get
yours in
ready
the
to.
background, ain't it? That's your Jones
Oh
in the
yeah, yeah,
background.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can
This
you
all,
show
yeah,
them real quick?
yeah,
Put the camera up and show them. Let them see.
yeah, yeah.
Let them see my
All
man
right,
makes joints. Yeah.
so like these joints right
Show
here, I
'em.
can't really expose where they're going to be, but like I got
All right.
joints like these right here, right? This is like all leather, got the ostrich on them. You know what I mean? Got the
True.
suede on there.
Wow.
We got joints like these. They got ostrich, python. See all the python up on that joint?
Wow. Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? Got the
Wow.
ostrich on the
Yo,
back. Yeah,
that's
this
wicked.
joint, this joint got chicken pox. You know what I mean? Got chicken pox.
that,
And then
that Joe wicked.
and
That's
then
the
we got
ostrich,
the
though, right?
yeah. And then
Yeah.
we got the classic joints. Like right now, these is bubbling in the summer. You got that pebble leather on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah. I
got the
like that.
gold tips, the all white
I
joints. You
like
can
that.
rock these with. You can rock them with jeans. You can rock them with shorts. You can rock them with a suit. You know what I mean? Whatever it
Right.
is you want to do, this is the
Yeah.
ones right here.
I like
Then
that. I like that
I
first.
got
That first one was R&B, and that second one
yeah,
with the chicken pox was real. That's pandemic. I like the pandemic, and I like the
yeah.
R&B ones, man. Yeah,
All right,
that's
where's
jiggy.
the next Jones at? I'm trying to grab something crazy for you.
I like the
All
looks
right,
you
so I
got. You got looks where it's sporty, like when we was youngins, and then you got the okay. Back to
you
the
got the
chicken
sa-
pox. I feel you.
you got the salmon ostrich. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
The
right,
salmon
right.
ostrich. You got the gator on there. You got the leather, the suede. Like that sneaker right there is classic. And then
That's
we got
Rasta.
this joint right here. This is exclusive right here. These didn't even drop yet. We got these right here. This joint got suede. It got gator on there. It has two tongues on it.
Yo,
This you got the
that
two
one right
tongues. You
there.
got to strap it.
That's Stormtrooper. That's the
Yeah, man.
Stormtrooper, man. Yeah,
Look the
that's
back. You
the
see the back of that joint?
that's the
Yeah. So
Stormtrooper
so
joint right there
yeah,
in
man. This
black.
one right here is crazy.
I gotta take
Then
the toothbrush to that soul, man. That soul.
yeah, no doubt. And then we got joints like this, like the classic joints. You see, you got the stingray up on there.
See, now that's the R&B I'm talking about. Because they don't know, man. I might switch it up one day, man. Just go R&B. They see me come out on the stage with Usher or something.
Yeah.
Usher
And then
reunion tour.
and then I gotta come over here. I gotta show you these joints. Got the gator on the toe and the tongue, got the black with the white and the red. And then we
Yeah,
got joints like these.
Benji,
Yeah,
how
we
long
out
y'all
here.
been making shoes?
I've been in the business for a little bit. We got these joints getting ready to drop. These is dropping in like another month and a half. Yeah, these is crazy. These is crazy. These
Bungee.
dropping in like a month and a half. I got these
Yo,
joints
Bungee.
dropping in October. Look at that. You got the perforated leather on the toe and all that. Like,
Brother, they look comfortable. And that's
yeah.
important. They look
And then you
comfortable, man.
look. See, we bubbling. We bubbling, Biss. We
Yeah,
bubbling.
yeah,
We
yeah,
not
yeah.
playing over here. We got the jewels for you.
I knew
We
you
got the
was how
jewels.
you was talking, man. They look comfortable.
Look, got joints like this with the python on the toe cap.
Right, right,
Like,
right.
yeah, like we not playing, man. We not playing. So yeah, so when it comes time for what we were doing, I know you asked me how long we been doing it for. What happened was when I first came home from jail, and we was trying to get everything going. Of course, I didn't have the funds to be able to do it, and I already said on your show how I basically got the funds. But once I ended up getting the funding behind me, I had to go to work, and I ended up linking up with the dude that I told you about with the NFT hookup.
Right.
He ended up linking me up with a couple of different places, and then I ended up going to a couple of trade shows. Got a couple, manufacturers on the hip from Portugal and Italy and Spain and all that. And I already
Right.
had probably about like 300 designs that I sketched up when I was locked up. So all I had to do was just go
Right.
to work at that point. I didn't have to sketch nothing new after that. So now it's like everything is just going. It's just we dropping all kind of new stuff. So I'm gonna say within the next 30 to 60 days, we're gonna be dropping new stuff every month after that. But if you go to the website or whatever, we already got a couple of joints on there now. But within the next two months, we're gonna have like 10 new collections. So we're about to get it going. And just so the people understand, the people need to understand that we getting our stuff made at the same places that all these other high-end brands is getting their
I
stuff
can
made at.
tell. Nah, I can tell
So
the
yeah,
stitching, the
yeah.
material. You can tell. It ain't hard to
Yeah,
tell.
man. So this isn't one of those little Alibaba.com joints. So this isn't nothing
Yeah.
like that. Like we went
It
and
ain't
we
hard to
got our
tell.
stuff done. Yeah. So it's like I just want people to know that, because a lot of times when people think of a black owned business, they don't put quality with black owned. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I just
yeah,
really want people
yeah.
to understand, like we getting our stuff done at the same Italian factories and all the other stuff these other brands is doing. So just give us that
Bungee.
respect, man.
It's gonna come,
You know what I
Bungee.
mean?
Yo, it's gonna come, Bungee, because the beauty about it is this: your attitude, brother. It's 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 infectious, man. It's magnetic. You
I
hear me?
appreciate it. And
And
as a
you
matter
a
of fact, while I
stand up
got you on the
dude.
phone, we got sweatshirts. I mean the Letterman sweatshirts. We got the suede on the back. Look, you see the suede on the elbow.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah,
got
yeah,
joints
yeah, yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? And this we got clothes everywhere. You see everything all lined up. We
Man,
got
I need
the
some of
sneaks
my
and all that stuff
logo.
all lined up over here. Then if you go to the back, this is where we got our Instagram photos, all that stuff we be taking. We got the mannequins, we got the cameras, like everything you could possibly think of, we have in this
Yeah, you
space.
got the
And
sexy
we got
model.
all the new stuff that
You,
we're
you,
creating right now.
you got the new updated sexy models, man. You got the you got the models that they pay extra for, not them regular jokes. You
Yeah.
got the models with the abs, with the ab work and everything like that. The model, yo,
Yeah.
I see, I
Yeah.
see, man.
So
Yo,
so
Bungee.
yeah, we trying to
I
elevate,
mean, one of them.
it, and we're gonna take it to another level.
Yeah, I can only do so much, and I'm gonna do everything I can for you, brother. But I definitely one of them. I like the the second the second one you showed me. The first one was like some R&B black, and then the second one looked like it was the chicken pot joint. The second one had white and black or cream and black,
Yeah.
like with my
Yeah.
logo somewhere in there, man. Like my logo, man. I
Oh well,
rock them
you
joints on
you
stage
already know.
every
Let's
show.
do it. Let's do it.
But
Let's
but
do it.
but and
That's
I'm gonna
ain't
do
nothing but a
everything I
word.
can for you. I can do everything I can for you. But I'm telling you though, for you, the quality is already there, Bungee. Like now, the part that we do, brother, is we stay steadfast, we work hard, like we always working hard. And then, you know what I'm saying, we pray for it. We go where we're led, you know what I'm trying to say? Like and then of course like patience, you know what I'm trying to say? Like I know that you got a team. You couldn't do that without a team. And y'all
Yeah.
team, y'all want to get to the, get out of the black and the red as quickly as possible and be in the green. You know what I'm saying? And like,
No doubt. No
you know,
doubt.
atmosphere, stratosphere and climbing. And look, it's gonna happen for you, Bungee. It's gonna
No
happen
doubt.
for
No
your
doubt.
team. Because what y'all got right there is so impressive. You know, it's
Yeah.
just that, like
Well,
I said,
one thing that's amazing to me is that like when you going around the way and you trying to get people around the way to support, I finally got past that because like people around the way
Yeah,
they
I
just
was
don't
about to
support.
tell you.
So
I was
yeah,
about to
so it's
tell you.
like so for me, what I ended up doing is I ended up saying, forget trying to sell to the people around the way. I got to start taking this to these high-end stores. Like I got to get the Neiman Marcus. I got to get the, the Banana Republic. I got to get to all these different spots. So fortunately for me, I ended up doing a Nick Cannon interview. And shortly after, as a matter of fact, I did the Today Show and told
Right.
my story. And then I got linked up with Foot Locker. So our first release was in Foot Locker. And
And I
then after
told
we
you
did the foot,
what I say
yeah.
about Nick. What I say about Nick, I told you, man. Nick got like his own universe,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
it's isolated, or
After I did the Nick,
insulated.
after I did the Nick thing, it just blew up from there.
It's
It
a
was
different
crazy after
vibe
that.
with his
So
operation, man. It's crazy though.
yeah, so
And it
everybody that's
got,
out there listening, you need to come follow us, man, because we're doing some major things right now, and I'm going to get that Biz sneaker done. Believe
yeah, for
that.
sure. Yeah,
Believe
yeah, we
that.
doing it. We doing it, but that's what I mean. Like, see, you gonna do for hip hop what Nick Cannon did for hip hop, whereas he built this on his own
Yeah,
universe, not his own world, man.
absolutely,
He built his own universe. I
absolutely.
saw it, man. And
I'm
you
sure.
got the same thing what you doing with clothes. You're gonna build your own universe, brother. And in order to do that, we gotta leave these crash dummies alone, man. We not kicking no dirt on them or nothing. But the crash dummies, man, we not even gonna pay them no mind. When you take it to them stores, take it to the major chains, take it overseas, man. Take it to
Absolutely.
these groups that are they out there. They're doing these shows where they dancing. It's funny how they doing the popping, the locking, and the break dancing and stuff like we was doing, right?
Yeah,
Make
yeah,
make a
yeah, yeah.
line make a line of those, man. Make a line of those that's lightweight and that have like some of the things for them dancers to be. You know what I'm trying to say?
All right, well,
And then
look,
make
we're not gonna drop too many jewels on here.
oh
We're
sorry,
gonna talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
this off, because I don't want nobody else doing this before we get a chance to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right,
And
but
I'm
look,
gonna
man.
tell you, I'm gonna tell
I
you the side that's dangerous. Ain't nobody gonna do. Yo, make the mountain climbers joint. Make the mountain because it's bungee, right? Make the mountain climbers joint with a
yeah,
rubber to
yeah,
be
yeah,
you,
yeah,
you
yeah.
grab, make your foot look like this when it's done with it. You know what I'm saying? The little rubber joint make your foot like this when it's done. Yeah, I'm just playing, man. Yo,
Yeah.
thank you. You heard
All right, so
bungee?
look, man. So yeah, so I'm gonna get ready to check, man. I got another meeting that I gotta do. But I'm gonna
Understood.
definitely stay in contact with you, homie. I definitely gotta send you a nice, cool little care package. And again, I
Yo,
appreciate your time, man. And keep
man.
blessing us with this dope music, man. Don't get tired of it. We need to
Hey,
hear that
salute,
voice, homie. All right.
salute,
So just one
salute,
more time
salute.
before we go, tell everybody where to go to get your music at.
Okay, so right now you listening to Canibus live and direct in the flesh on Bungee Brand Live. Stay tuned on Bungee Brand Live for any new updates going on with my brother doing, and I'm gonna be back and forth here, a little bit often. And if you want to see what's going on with Canibus anywhere, you just go to www.caninft.com. That's CANINFT.com. And then, of course, you got iPictorial.com. That's the metaverse, the multiverse, a lot of things going on in that area, you name it. And that's where we at with it, man. Like a shout out, I got records. I got all kind of things going on at KennyNFT.com, of course. But, and then shout out my team, you know what I'm saying? Big Tranquil Beast, Yaz the Face, you know what I'm saying? I got to bump that radio show every Sunday at 12 to 2. There's a couple things, man, but just get in where y'all fit in. And we love y'all, man. Y'all make sure y'all come Bungee Brand Live. You know what I'm saying? Can I bust? I got my man Cali Ranks out there. I feel me entertainment. Shout out all the folks out there. Just did a show with Shine Head the other day. You know what I'm saying? Legend, worldwide, international legend. And yeah, Bungee, Bungee was a treasure, you hear me? It was a
I
treasure from
appreciate you,
from
man.
backstage, from backstage at the DJ Quick Rock Kim show
Yeah.
to live on your show, man. And you know what? I knew you had something popping, man. Just the way that you was poking your chest out over there, man. I knew you had something popping, man. You was poking your chest out back there, man. All them stars back there. You standing there, you was like this. I knew you had something popping, Bungee. You know what? I'm not surprised, and I'm proud of you, brother. I'm proud of
My
you.
man, I appreciate you. And I want to shout out Del P too. He's from Philly. He said that he
Okay.
ended up ripping your Get Retarded beat, and you gave him props on Twitter. So
Okay, I know who you talking about then. I know who you
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
he killing things out here. He's definitely one. I gotta get with him. He from
So,
Philly. His
oh,
name is
so
Del P.
you in Philly right now?
Yeah, that's where my
Okay, all right,
office is. We got a
okay,
showroom here in Philly, and then I also want to give
okay.
a shout out to my man Trick. He got a clothing line too. I don't know how to say it. I don't want to butcher it, but he's Perush Caribou or something like that. I
Okay,
got a
Bruce
couple of his
Caribou.
pieces too, but not. Yeah, he's a beast. He used to rap with me back in the day, but yeah, man. So again, I'm
Yeah,
definitely
Del
gonna
P.
reach
Shout
back
out to
out to you
Del
on the
P.
phone.
That's if that's your homie. I remember him tearing that joint down. It was like either like in the beginning of this year or last year was like during the pandemic and all that. I remember Del P. I remember
Yeah,
he tore it down.
yeah,
We posted that up. See, stuff like that is
yeah,
heartfelt. Like that's what we do it for, Bungee. Like, and you gonna see, man. You gonna see, brother. Like once your line gets out there, and you go to like South Africa or something, and you see like a tore up one that somebody done wore the hell out of, like sitting in the
yeah,
corner somewhere. It's gonna hit you. That's like how you ask me when you're on stage and people miming it back to you. It's when you get over the top and there's a split second and you see like one of your
like
shoes in the
damn,
corner there,
yeah,
and then it's up to you to recognize it though, and then freeze for that moment and rewind back and say, I remember when this was just a dream, and then
yeah,
acknowledge that and say thank you to the creator for that because your hard work paid off and it came true. Now what you gonna do? That's the question. See, because a lot of times I remember I saw 2000 BC on a hut. It was like on a zinc house hut, man, in a dirt floor and all that, man, like on the ground. The conditions was crazy. And my 2000 BC CD was sitting in the corner, cracked up. CD was gone, but the case and everything, the artwork, and in my mind, I was like, yeah, that joint made it all the way over here.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was humble for the rest of the trip. Like, I mean, humble, like, yo, you hungry? Nah, I'm gonna just sit over here and drink water and eat rice cakes and drink water. You know, see, I was real humble
That's crazy.
because
Yeah,
it makes you know that this thing what we doing and what we building is real. It's not a game, man. Like if this is being recorded, it's being watched. I'm talking about by the angels. They paying attention,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
They giving you back what you did, man. Whether it's good, indifferent, or bad. And so however you treat it, it's gonna treat you back like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
no
so
doubt. Real talk.
that's why I'm bigging you up right now. So when you get that multi crazy contract, you don't forgive
When
me,
I get
man.
that when I get that contract, you coming with me, baby. You already know.
Yeah, yeah,
But listen, I'm gonna check out and then I'll hit you up. I'll hit you up on the line so that way we can finish rapping or whatever. But we definitely gotta stay in touch, all right, bro?
all right, brother, to the
All
fullest.
right,
You hear me?
man. Love
Love,
you,
life,
man.
and
Appreciate
legacy.
you for everything,
Love,
man.
life, and legacy.
All right.
Peace.
Now how I get up? All right, here we go. I gotta figure out how to get off this joint, Biss. All right. I'm trying to get off this joint, Biss. I'm trying to figure it out.